Fuel load. In the last video we've discovered how taking more fuel actually affects your aircraft in climb rate, acceleration and turning ability. Today we're going to test if taking more fuel actually improves your energy retention. Hello you sex beasts and welcome back to BluePrints. This episode is going to be a short one since I don't have much time, so let's get right into it. The theory behind the subject is based on the real-world physics of an object. To cut a long lecture about potential and kinetical energy equations short, if you have two objects with the same size and drag coefficient, but different weights being launched at the same velocity, and with the existence of air resistance of course, the heavier one should go further. This is what we refer to as energy retention, or the capability to resist air resistance. Alright, then let's get to the testing. For this test I've taken the P-47N into test flight with either a minimum or maximum fuel load. In order to test the horizontal and vertical energy retention, as well as the dive speed gain, we need to set up a methodology that we can repeat for both subjects. For the horizontal energy retention test, I've flown the P-47 to 1 km altitude, sped to about 1450 km/h IAS with web enabled, and instead of throttling back, just turned off the engine to ensure that the radiator wouldn't open and alter our drag coefficient. Now, we can't directly measure energy levels of course, but what we can do is measure its effects, namely acceleration. If we are to see a difference in energy retention, then the heavier P-47 should suffer less deceleration than the lighter one. And, indeed, there is a measurable difference in how quickly the two aircraft lost their speed. As you can see by the graph, the max fuel P-47 had a consistently better speed retention across the board. So what's the difference in percent? Well, there would be about a 7.6% decrease in speed loss. Quite substantial actually. Alright, on to diving ability. For this one we've taken the P-47s to 3 km altitude at around 300 km/h IAS, cut the engine with web still enabled and went into a negative 50-degree dive. And again, the heavy aircraft takes the crown. To note here is how your acceleration advantage increases the faster you go, proving that the aircraft is overcoming air resistance better than the lighter one. And in fact, without any input of the engine, we've reached 679 km/h at the end of the dive with the minimum fuel load P-47 and 708 km/h with the max fuel one. Translating the result into percentage averages, the heavy P-47 has on average a 3.7% better diving speed gain. And finally, climb speed loss. Now this one's a bit tricky. Whilst you should theoretically have a higher energy retention at the start of the climb whilst you're still high on speed, towards the end gravity should pull down the heavy aircraft more. For this experiment we've simply put the aircraft into a 50-degree climb after pulling out of the dive. Still with the engine off and still with web enabled, to make sure that the radiator was completely closed. And these are the results. As expected, the difference is more pronounced at the start of the climb, when we were still fast, but pretty much equals 0 the slower we go. So what do these numbers translate to? Across the board, the heavier P-47 does have about a 1.9% lower speed loss than the lighter one. However, the lighter one did reach a slightly higher altitude before stalling out, about 2,308 meters compared to the 2,284 meters on the heavier one. Now, this is within margin of error, but does prove that you can only really have an advantage as long as you keep your speed up. So, what are the conclusions? My personal conclusion is actually just how amazing I find it how the game engine can actually correlate to real-world physics. In terms of gameplay, taking more fuel does give the benefits of higher fire resistance and slightly better energy retention, but I still wouldn't recommend taking a full fuel load for all but the purest of NG fighters that already have a low climb rate and acceleration values. The benefits of higher energy retention just don't really balance out the significant drawbacks in climb rate, acceleration and turning ability in most cases. It's definitely worth trying it out, just messing around with it a little bit in an air spawn interceptor NG fighter like the Focke 190 and the P-47s, but only if you really have perfect patience and discipline. Anytime you're not above the enemy or at high speeds, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And that concludes our little experiment in how fuel load affects your dive and energy retention. If you've learned anything new, which I bet you do, don't lie to me, click that like button to support the channel and check out my BluePrints playlist in the description for more videos like these. If you're new around here and you want to get better at War Thunder, or if you just think that my accent is funny, do subscribe to the channel and consider joining the notification squad. As for myself, I guess I'll have to continue playing Panzermädels, since over 97% of you voted to turn it into a series. I swear, you guys are either huge masochist or you like to hear me cringe. Anyways, leave your suggestions for BluePrints videos in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next one. My name is MikeGoesBoom, and thank you for watching.
You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind, or instead you could